let's get right into the goods today. First up, we're going to talk about some movies coming out this week. This first movie is entitled The Countdown. Now, I'm going to be able to stall here a little bit in order to pull it up on my Googles here, because I definitely have not done my homework. It's been a weird weekend. Let's see. The Countdown 2019. Okay, let's talk about this film that for some reason still I can't find on here. All right.
So, I mean, this to me already sounds like it's been done 23 times before.
Yeah, more or less.
So there's a countdown. People are on a race against the clock.
Yeah,
right, to live.
That, I mean, unless if they didn't have that, then they'd be they would have missed an opportunity there. When a nurse downloads an app that claims to predict the moment a person will die, it tells her she only has 3 days to live. With the clock ticking and a figure haunting her, she must find a way to save her life before time runs out. So it sounds extremely exciting. Directed by Justin Deck and also written by Justin Deck, starring Ian Winters, Elizabeth Leo, and Charlie McDermott. Okay, we can move on.
Yeah, very quickly. Give me something completely different in one of these countdown movies.
Well, I'll try to. This particular movie, it doesn't look terribly.
Isn't that Beck?
Beck
from the show that was on Netflix. The guy, remember the guy? He worked at the bookstore.
Oh yeah. Oh shit! You know what I think that is. It might be. I don't know. It's hard to tell some of these white women apart from one another. But,
very. It's getting increasingly difficult.
From You, right? Isn't that what that was?
Yeah. You.
Yeah, with the dude from what's the show he was on? Gossip Girl.
He was on Gossip Girl too. Yeah, that's definitely Beck from the Netflix series You.
Yeah,
who's in this movie, The Countdown.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got at least one black eye in it, so I guess we can't be that bad on that, or we can't say that many bad things about it.
Fuck that movie.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, on to perhaps a better movie. We have Black and Blue, starring one Tyrese Gibson, as well as, hold on, I gotta start pulling these up beforehand. I feel terrible. Delivering a very low quality. I'm not giving my a effort today.
You were supposed to be on top of this, but luckily I'm here to save the day. Black and Blue. Naomi Harris, yep. As well as Mike Coulter, who we know from the Netflix series, fucking Luke Cage.
Yeah, well, I could have helped you out. I didn't, just because
I knew I was gonna get it. And we also have Frank Grillo in this film, who we know from several Marvel movies.
Yeah.
This movie looks good.
Yeah, it's about a rookie police officer in New Orleans who has to balance her identity as a black woman with her role as a police officer when she witnesses other police officers committing murder. I feel like that's a very heavy-handed way of saying that. Like it feels like it should be something that's just baked into like the film, not something you should put in like the fucking premise.
Maybe, but like
weird thing.
It is very interesting, right? And I think Bright, the Netflix film starring Will Smith, kind of touched on this, right? Where it's there are in that movie there were elves and there were orcs and then there were humans and then there were the police, right? And the police viewed themselves as entirely different. In the trailer for this movie, like you get that, there's a scene where she's sitting at the table with I guess her sergeant or lieutenant, and he asked her like, so you think you're black? And basically, their conversation leads to him saying like, you're not black. From now on, you're blue, and that's it. That's who you are, right? Yeah. But that creates somewhat of a interesting paradigm between like reality where you can be like, a black man, a black woman, a white woman, Asian man, Asian woman. You can be your ethnicity and your identity while still serving your community as a police officer, and to have to like divorce who you are to serve the blue, right? Like what does that do to you, to your psyche while playing this position of being a police officer, an authoritative figure, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think this movie is going to address on some really interesting things.
Yeah.
Bigger than skin color.
Yeah, and it is directed by Dion Taylor and written by Peter A. Dowling. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting, maybe not, it's kind of a conventional issue, but I think I'm really excited to see Naomi Harris in this role, because I think it's, unless I'm mistaken, it's the first major film that I think she's going to be headlining. Now, of course, you have Tyrese in it, and as you said before, Michael Coulter. But essentially, she's the face of this film. I'm excited to see that, because I think she's a very talented actress.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, she's demonstrated more than on a few occasions that she's more than capable of, holding her weight in a film.
Yeah.
So
if you've seen the most recent preview too, like the action scenes in this movie are intense, and she looks like she did a lot of the action in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not the usual like quick cut scenes. It's real hand-to-hand combat in this movie, and I'm excited. This looks good. And I mean, Tyrese, he's one of my favorite guys. I love Tyrese. Yeah, he's not like one of the best actors in Hollywood, but
he's not terribly talented. But
usually, like whatever he does is usually good. Whether it's like Transformers or Baby Boy, or his standalone movies that he's done.
I don't know. I would like to see people like Tyrese. He can miss. He's had a few misses. But I would like to see people like Tyrese in roles that. And maybe I don't know. I'm not as familiar with his catalog, but ever since like Baby Boy, and like the Too Fast, Too Furious, like I not necessarily that he's been typecast, but I mean, obviously, I guess this movie it would sort of be like he's a little bit typecast in this film. But I would like to see him in just something just drastically different, than I think what we have seen him as. He's like always kind of like the slick talking black guy who, is always sort of like outraged at something, like, no, you can't fucking do this. Are you fucking crazy? You wild. Like, it's just like, come on, like let's get something else. I just want to, I feel like he does have something else to offer, but I don't feel like he gets necessarily the roles. And maybe that's what he was kind of talking about when he had that meltdown on I don't know if it was YouTube or wherever he released that video on.
What do you want? No, I think he was going through some issues with his like baby mom and like custody of his daughter and all that good stuff. But no, the typecasting.
No, but I think he
addressed other things there.
There was other. I'm not even sure if it was necessarily even that same video, but I remember around that same time he was basically, and I think this is when he was pissed at The Rock. Yeah. I don't know. We were watching a clip of Sean Connery, so maybe I just took a bit of his lingo there. But I remember he had the whole thing with The Rock where he didn't want him to do his own standalone, Hobbs and Shaw, and he was pissed about that. And so I think he's frustrated with not, being given certain opportunities in Hollywood. I don't know if obviously I don't know Tyrese, so I couldn't tell you for sure, but yeah, that's
definitely true. I mean, like even his character in Transformers, right? The story broke. It was a while ago, but like the director of the film, Michael Bay, was unhappy with Tyrese being casted for this film because Michael Bay thought like, oh, he's too dark and it doesn't look good on screen. And it's like, I highly doubt that that's not a one-off, right? This probably happens often. Like, oh, it might be good for this movie, but like we don't know if he's a little bit dark for this character.
Yeah, I'd like to reply to that by saying first, fuck Michael Bay. Yeah, and I really have nothing else.
Of course, that's all you need to say. But either way, this movie Black and Blue, starring Naomi Harris, Mike Coulter, and Tyrese Gibson, Frank Grillo, and Reed Scott, it looks good. I'm going to see this.
Yeah. All right, let's trek forward here. This next film is interesting, and the only reason why it kind of caught my eye, I'm not really one for Halloween movies, but I guess this would be like a horror movie that's obviously just in time for Halloween. But what caught my eye about this is that it stars a one CM Punk. I don't know if you know who that is.
Isn't he like a wrestler?
He was, yes. A very, 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 very popular wrestler. And he, famously left the company kind of abruptly. And so it's been interesting. He dabbled a little bit in UFC. and promptly lost both of his matches that he had pretty badly.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah. When it's real, those are live.
When
bullets.
you're really getting punched in the face,
those are live bullets. Flying away. Yeah. So, anyways, that's what caught my eye about this movie is that CM Punk's headlining it. But this is The Girl on the Third Floor, which is about Don Koch tries to renovate a rundown mansion with a sordid history for his growing family, only to learn that the house has other plans. And again, this stars CM Punk, Tristy Dunn, Sarah Brooks, and is written by Travis Stevens. Directed by Travis Stevens and written by Paul Johnstone. I don't know, whichever one it is.
Is it Johnson with a T in it?
Yes.
Yeah, I hate
Johnstone.
anyone with that last name, Johnston.
But that's John Stone, and it has an E at the end too.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
So it's Johnson with a T and an E at the end.
So JOHNSTONE.
Yeah, this movie's not going to do well.
Jesus Christ. All right, but I think it was based on a story by Paul Johnstone.
All right, let's take a break here to look at the real life implications of buying or renovating a haunted house.
Yeah,
you're pretty much just sinking all of your money.
That's a lot of sunken cost. Yeah.
That's the real horror.
No sooner that you fix something, the ghost just kind of fucks it up.
The ghost fucks it up, and then you can't resell that property because it's haunted.
Yeah.
So,
or here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. Maybe you just have to repurpose it, right? So you say, okay, I bought this. I didn't know it was haunted, but now I definitely know it's haunted. You turn
it into commercial property.
You got to turn it into commercial property.
But then your liability insurance has to cover the many people who are going to die in this haunted house.
True. But maybe just get people to sign waivers, I guess, and just but here's what you do.
What is the price of admission?
Yeah,
because it has to be because you're not going to have many visitors.
One soul. How much
a soul for a soul? This is where the soul stone is. But no, in real life, let's say you buy a house, right?
Sure.
And then your goal is to renovate it, flip it and sell it, and you sink money into putting up, knocking down a wall, electrical, plumbing, all that shit.
Yeah.
And then you find out it's haunted by a girl in the attic.
Yeah.
The real horror here is how much you're going to owe the bank.
Well, I'm assuming that they just let this house go. I'm assuming they wanted to sell it quick. So it's not like
who the owners
and for cheap too.
Well, who's gonna buy it?
No, and for cheap, right? So even the
you take a loss on it.
I mean, if it's haunted, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna?
I mean, hopefully you break even, but fuck, I wouldn't even
would you wanna?
I wouldn't even be worried about the girl on the third floor. I'd be like, bitch, I'm on the phone with Wells Fargo right now. Come back later, you haunted bitch.
Unless you can help me get out of this 30-year mortgage.
Are you familiar with banking mortgage loans?
What rates can you go for?
If not,
what's your credit score?
If not, I'll be in bed sleeping later. You can haunt me then. Come fucking back later.
Is your credit score above 700?
Do you want to co-sign, bitch?
Just sign here. Initial here. Okay. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I don't know. I have, and this is opening in limited theaters, so even if we had the chance, we don't have the chance to go see it. So unless we travel to where the fuck it's showing,
somewhere in Pennsylvania,
most likely. Okay, so let's move on to